The real Brazil. The side the world never sees. Brazil is famous around the world. When people think of this country, a colorful picture instantly comes to mind. Crystal clear beaches, endless parties, top-tier soccer, and a smiling, happy people. To the outside world, Brazil looks like a never-ending vacation. But that image, it's just the surface. A polished postcard. A carefully curated facade. Because there is another Brazil. A Brazil that's hidden from tourist brochures. A Brazil that's invisible in ads. A Brazil that doesn't show up on Instagram. This is the Brazil where the sparkle of the beach fades in the face of hunger. Where the rhythm of samba gets lost in the silence of dark alleys. Where millions live in places that don't even look like they belong in the same country as the luxury condos a few miles away. This is the real Brazil. A nation of contrasts. When you imagine extreme poverty, what comes to mind? For many, the first image is of faraway places. Small African villages, barefoot children walking through dusty roads, basic homes made of mud and wood. Places that the world sees as poor by nature. But what few realize is that Brazil looks the same. And sometimes, worse. Take a moment and compare. In the northeastern backlands of Brazil, families survive without electricity, without water, without access to a single doctor. In the urban favelas, sewage runs in the open, children go to school hungry, if they go at all, and safety is a privilege few can afford. What's more painful, seeing poverty in a poor country, or seeing poverty ignored in a rich one? Because make no mistake, Brazil is rich. Rich in land, rich in water, rich in natural resources, biodiversity, oil, agriculture, and culture. Rich enough to feed its people, educate its youth, and care for its sick. But despite all this wealth, millions are trapped in a daily struggle just to survive. What the world sees versus what we live. The Brazil shown to the world is carefully selected. Footage of Copacabana at sunset. Carnival in Rio. Smiling dancers in glittering costumes. Luxury resorts. Samba on rooftops. Friendly, cheerful locals. But behind those same images, just blocks away, reality tells another story. Overcrowded slums clinging to hillsides. Corrugated metal roofs. Children playing in polluted creeks. Police raids. Gunfire. Desperation. Tourism generates billions. Brazil ranks among the top travel destinations in the world. Yet, those billions rarely trickle down to the people who need them most. For every beachside hotel, there are a dozen communities without basic sanitation. For every luxury high-rise, there are hundreds of families living in crumbling shacks. For every parade shown on TV, there's a mother skipping meals so her children can eat. This contrast isn't just unfair. It's criminal. The beautiful lie. Imagine showing a tourist the postcard version of Brazil. Sun, music, energy. And then, taking them to the outskirts of the city. To the broken schools, the clinics with no doctors, the neighborhoods where buses don't run and ambulances don't reach. The shock would be instant. Because we've been taught to hide this side of Brazil. Taught to smile. To entertain. To pretend that everything is fine. But it's not fine. It hasn't been fine for a long time. A country that forgot its own people. There are cities in Brazil where children have never seen clean drinking water come from a faucet. Places where people live without electricity, without sewage, without a paved road in sight. And in urban areas, the poverty may look different, but it's just as deep. Here, the poor work twice as hard, earn half as much, pay taxes like the rich, and live like they don't exist. In the countryside, isolation is a way of life. In the city, abandonment is the norm. Education doesn't educate. Healthcare doesn't heal. Politics doesn't protect. Instead, the system protects the same people it always has. The powerful, the connected, the privileged. The system isn't broken. It was built this way. The truth is, Brazil could be an example for the world. But to do that, it would need to stop pretending. It would need to stop funding projects abroad while letting sewage flow through its own streets. It would need to stop investing in image and start investing in people. It would need to stop cutting the essentials, education, healthcare, public transport, while shielding the luxuries of the elite. How is it possible that a child born in a poor Brazilian town has fewer opportunities than a child in a poorer nation? Why are public services being gutted, while private fortunes grow? Why are families forced to choose between food and gas, between rent and medicine? These are questions that demand answers. The people who hold this country together. Despite everything, despite the chaos, the corruption, the cruelty, Brazil keeps going. Not because of politicians. Not because of billionaires. But because of the people. The ones who wake up at 4 a.m. to catch the bus. The mothers who feed 5 kids with what little is left. The young people who dream, even when they're told not to. These are the people who carry Brazil on their backs. They keep the factories running. They build the roads. They serve the food. They clean the offices. They teach the children. And yet, they're the most forgotten. Survival isn't a virtue. Brazilians are often praised for being resilient. But strength born from necessity isn't something to celebrate. It's a warning sign. A society where survival is a badge of honor is a society in crisis. Hope here isn't a luxury. It's a requirement. Because if the Brazilian people stop believing, what's left? What happens when a people that have been denied everything finally realize they deserve more? The final question. So, what is Brazil really? Is it the glittering carnival sold to tourists? Or is it the quiet desperation of families ignored by their own government? The truth isn't in the commercials. It's in the alleyways, in the favelas, in the tired smiles of those who have lost everything, except their will to keep going. Brazil doesn't need more speeches. It doesn't need more false promises. It needs honesty. It needs courage. And most of all, it needs to finally see the people who make this country possible. Because while the rich isolate themselves in gated communities and politicians argue in Brasilia, millions wait. Wait for food. Wait for school. Wait for justice. And still they stand. Still they work. Still they believe. But the question remains.